So you've been asking me about my opinions about how to set the J3s up. Um, I mentioned the BlueTAC mod. I'm going to show you that in a second. I just kind of wanted to show you kind of the placement that I have my speakers in. It's like worst, worst. There's my amplifier down there. Worst case scenario, and they sound just fine. I'm going to try and give you a sound demo a little bit later. But as far as your bookshelf idea goes, it's perfectly fine. Now, what I want to kind of get across is you shouldn't have it mounted like this. Ignore that. What you want to do is when you put it on your bookshelf, you want to isolate kind of each corner from the bookshelf and kind of mount it basically. And a lot of people, like a lot of hi-fi people, will actually screw up from like a bass into the speaker, and obviously that damages the speaker. And if you ever want to do anything else with it, you have to take it apart. It's a mess. So what a lot of people have done instead is they use this material, and you can kind of see it in here. It's called BlueTAC. All right, and basically what it is it's like a little, almost like Play-Doh. It's like rubberized Play-Doh, and it's can conform, contract, and basically it can work in place of screws, because it's kind of almost an adhesive. So I was saying to roll four little balls up and put one in each corner, and basically stick your whole speaker on top of your bookshelves. Bookshelves. That will mount them and kind of give you a better bass response and make it sound a little bit better. All right. The other thing you want to do is with your bookshelves on the bottom, you want to get some sort of like really pointy feet. You've probably seen them in speaker stands before. They're like little pegs almost, and that will isolate the bookshelf from the floor. Okay, so you have isolation from the floor, and then your speakers are isolated from your bookshelves, so things won't rattle around too much. All right. Now I'm going to show you here in a second. I'm going to take this driver off. I'm going to show you what I did with this BlueTAC. All right. There's a whole ring around it, and I've also done the tweeter. And this is a really shitty job, obviously, but I don't care. You can do a better job than I did, obviously. But what that's going to do is kind of improve your bass response a little bit. And I'll show you why that works here in a second. So Aventador, this is the Snell J3 that I have. What I was telling you to do was to take out the driver, all right? And then if you come in close, what you see is that originally the Snell J3 has this like weird, I don't know, rubber kind of almost O-ring to seat the inner side of the driver here. This will eventually wear out. As you can see up here, it's kind of like, I don't know, dead. So what you can do to fix it and kind of improve the overall punchiness and sound of the speaker is to get this BlueTAC and literally line it all around the inside of this little ridge. And you can see, maybe not, I don't know. You can see that there's kind of like a lip here. You just put it on the inside of that lip, and then when you put your driver back, you kind of want to make sure the holes line up. And when you just put it, when you screw it all back in, it'll just seat itself, and that will really help improve kind of the overall response of the speaker. And I've done it to both. Now the other thing you want to do here too is get some of the same stuff, all right? Make four little balls of it for each corner. So one here, one there, you know, there and there. And then put it on your bookshelf speaker, and that will kind of isolate it, so to say. And that will really kind of improve your overall experience with these. The other thing too I noticed when I open these up, if you look in here, I don't know if you can see it. This is being really shitty. I hate this stupid thing. I don't know. This yellow capacitor right here, I think is a little bit leaky. And this controls the potentiometer in the back that allows you to change the crossover points between the woofer and the tweeter. So that might be something you need to look at. I don't know. I don't even know if it's the same on this or not. I have to go figure that one out later. So there are just some general thoughts and kind of an overview on how you might want to attack these speakers and set them up and whatnot. So hopefully that helped you out. And if you need any more help, just let me know. Alright, the last thing I want to do here is give you a sound demo of how these things sound. Now, I've mentioned I have these things in near field. You know, this is a really terrible, terrible setup. This is basically on a sheet of plywood on moving boxes. Alright, so this is just worst case scenario setup. I mean, one of them is straight up against the wall. The other one is in the corner. So, you know, it just, the whole thing is just foobar, all right? And it still sounds pretty darn good. So I'm going to try and open up a, Jesus Christ, that blew it out. Let me see here. Going to try and play a song for you, see if we can get a little sound test going on. So we're going to try some Fleetwood Mac here. I'm going to try not to play it for too long to not get YouTube flagged or whatever they call it. So hopefully that will give you kind of a good idea of what it sounds like in its worst case scenario. You know, anything you have set up better than this setup here. Let me minimize this so you can see everything better. Yeah, anything you have different than this setup is probably going to sound better than that. And the reality of it is that sounded just fine. All right, you know, there was still plenty of bass. The highs were fine. There was clarity. The imaging was pretty much center. So you know, everything was fine. It's not like you have to have like an absolute perfect setup with these, and that really shows the versatility of how good these speakers are. It shows you the versatility of the speakers. All right. So I wouldn't really worry too much about trying to set everything up perfectly. All right, whatever works is probably going to work, and you're probably going to be pretty happy with it. So just try and take things one step at a time, and if you need any help, just ask. And hopefully now that I have this little camera here, I'll be able to do a better job explaining kind of my thought process on how you should set yours up. Okay, so we'll go from there, and good luck to you, and I'm really glad you have your speakers set up, man.